All right, so I get a lot of questions about how to do push-ups. So I thought I'd make a little video on how to do some push-ups and also just a couple of form things to check into, and also a couple of little corrective exercises if you feel like the push-up is bothering. It's typically shoulders. Sometimes people feel this in their lower back, but one thing to think about when you're doing push-ups is the big muscle that you're trying to engage are your chest muscles. Okay, these are the biggest muscles here that help you in that kind of pushing forward motion. So when you're doing push-ups, if you're not feeling some fatigue here, like across your chest and across this huge chest muscle, then you might be doing something a little bit wrong, okay? If you're mainly feeling this like across the front area here or the side area of your delt, then again, that means that you're using these delt muscles to somehow perform that push-up, okay? If you really feel this like on your arm muscles, then again, somehow you're using these arm muscles instead of the intended muscle, which really should be your chest. So if done correctly, a push-up is a terrific exercise for kind of your total body because it gets chest, you have to engage your core and stomach muscles. It actually gets your leg muscles, a little bit of your quads and your glutes just to try to hold everything together as you're going up and down in that push-up position. So a couple of quick tips that I really tell people to pay attention to is that when you're doing a chest press, whether you're on a bench press or a dumbbell, press, or even on a machine, is one thing I really notice is that people start to hunch their shoulders up and forward. They kind of round them a little bit more like this when they're doing the exercise. So one of the first cues I tell people is try to bring your shoulders down, but also back. And so when you bring those shoulders kind of down and back, if you notice, it just kind of lifted my chest up, meaning that it brought this collarbone a little bit higher up toward my chin. So if I do a push-up or a chest press in this position with my chest kind of lifted up, it really expands my rib cage and it opens up my chest, which really helps you to utilize these chest muscles to do that action. And again, these chest muscles are the biggest muscles. You want to be able to use those when you're doing this push motion. So that's one thing, is just think about as you're doing either push-ups or bench press or anything else, you don't want your shoulders to be rounded down and forward like this. You want those shoulders back and down. So really think about trying to hold that posture. And to do that, you're really trying to kind of squeeze your shoulder blades back and together, especially in this down position. The next thing that I've noticed is that when people are doing these push-ups, they're really letting their chin kind of stick out and forward. So again, kind of like this, where your chin's forward like this, which kind of helps get into this bad posture of your shoulders down and forward. So again, shoulders down and back, but also think about trying to pull your chin back. And the way I think about this one is, imagine trying to give yourself a double chin. So you're really trying to pull that chin backwards. And again, what that does is just lifts that whole rib cage up, and it really expands your chest, okay? So try to think of those couple of points there. Just again, shoulders down and back and chin tucked in and pulled back while you're doing your push-ups. And you should really begin to feel that right across these chest muscles, okay? And that's the main muscle that you want to feel kind of burning or feel fatigued as you're doing the exercise. So I'm gonna start with some of the more regressed push-ups, and then I'll take you through some progressions just so you can see some variations in how to develop it. So one way to kind of start is, if you're not really familiar with doing a push-up, is start with a slight incline. So you can put your hands on the edge of a bench or the edge of your couch or even the edge of your bed. And if you need to, the higher up you go vertically, the easier it'll get. So for some people that have had just after like a shoulder injury, sometimes I have them put their hands against a wall and I just have them do a very slight angled push-up forward and back. Okay, so I'll give you a couple demonstrations on this one. But first off is that when you have your feet back, you don't want to be soft into your feet. You want to think of like a sprinter putting their feet back into the starting blocks, okay? So once I have my feet kind of set, again, feel like I'm a sprinter getting ready to kind of take off out of those blocks. You need to have a good anchor in your feet first. The next thing I do is I make sure that my hands are just a little wider than my shoulders, okay? And then after this, I kind of squeeze my legs tight, squeeze my glutes tight, and then as long as my body's in that good start position with my chin pulled back, my shoulders down and back, that's how you get into that good push-up position. And right now, every time that I'm coming down, I feel a stretch right across my chest and I feel that chest muscle contract as I come up. So again, this is a good form for trying to do your push-ups, okay? So from there, if you're still feeling like you have good form, you want something a little more challenging, you bring your angle down. So again, hands on the floor is gonna be a little more challenging than having your hands on the edge of a bench, or again, sometimes you can even use like the edge of your bathtub to kind of bring your angle up, okay? So the next one, getting down on the floor, pretty much all those same rules apply, okay? So your hands are about shoulder width apart, you're kind of setting back. So again, you want to feel like you have a good anchor down into your feet, okay? Now from here, even as I look up at the camera, like my head's not in a great position. So what I want to do is I squeeze my glutes, squeeze my quads, suck my abs in, bring my shoulders down and back, but then pull my chin back as I come down. And instead of reaching for my chin like this, I really try to touch the floor with my chest and then come back up. So again, if you want to make this a little more difficult, a lot of times when you push-up challenges, people say you have to go all the way down, lift your hands off of the floor, and then push all the way back up again. That's a good way to try to get into that better push-up form. Now again, as you start doing this, you start feeling this in your shoulder, recheck your form. Pull your chin back, stick your chest out, suck your abs in, and again, really feel those chest muscles expand and then contract as you're going forward and back again. Okay, and then another way to increase the intensity of this is you can put your feet on the bench, okay? So doing more of a decline push-up will make things a little more challenging. You're getting more and more of your body weight over your chest by changing this angle. But all the same rules apply, okay? Chest out wide, pull that chin back, keep your chest up. Really again, trying to keep your feet firmly anchored into the base as you do those push-ups. And then one more progression. This one's actually called the scorpion push-up. So this is one way to engage a little bit more of your trunk muscles as you're doing just another piece to the push-up equation here. So again, same start position with your hands, same start position with your feet. However, this time when you're going down, you're gonna hold that down position, you're gonna curl one foot up, and then rotate all the way over, and then put it down, and then bring the other foot up, rotate all the way over, put it down, and then push up. That's one, okay? So you can do as many scorpion push-ups as you can, but again, keep all those form pieces together. So again, it's down, curl your heel up, twist over, touch, push it back, curl up, twist over, bring it back, and then finally push up. So those are just a couple of variations on how to do push-ups, but also just a few different corrections. So again, just remember, pull your chin back, lift that chest up, and if you're not feeling it on your chest, you're most likely doing one of those things wrong. If you really feel the burn on your shoulders or your arms, you can feel those as secondary muscles, but they shouldn't be your primary.